Welcome to Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes with your host Bert Laporte, Damian Monte Carlo, and Angry Mike D. Alright, sit back and enjoy the ride as they talk about all things that rock and other useless knowledge you don't care about. And remember, every asshole has an opinion. This is theirs. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.
All right, we're back. Another episode of Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes. We're doing another review. This one for the band Squid and their album. What is it? Cowards?
Cowards, yeah.
Cowards.
Double shot Friday review this week.
Man, I didn't know anything about this band. Knew absolutely nothing.
They're sort of new.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
with the. They've been around for a little bit, but I think they only put out their first album about maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
2019 or something. Yeah.
It's definitely a Mike D find. Definitely a Mike D find.
Yeah, it's kind of like indie rock, art rock.
I definitely call it definitely art. I hate the term indie, but I'll definitely call it art rock.
Yeah.
There you have it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the record, Mike?
Hey, you want me to start it off? So this is an album basically about evil and cowardice acts, as the title says. And a lot of it's, I believe he wrote from books and stuff like that he read and where he got his inspiration from.
Okay.
So, okay, you want to start the ranking?
Yeah, we're all good. So,
Concept
like I
record.
said, the way we kind of do it is we take all our numbers, we mix them up, and we come out with an average, and we go from our least favorite to our favorite, and we give our thoughts, just our opinion on what we think it is. So we got Squid, Cowards, Mike D pick of the week. Coming at number 9, Fieldworks. What do you got, Damo?
Fieldworks, which one? There's
Part
two of
1. Fieldworks Part 1.
them. Fieldworks 1. This was a bit mellow, where I don't even think there was drums on this song. A lot of orchestration and acoustic guitar and pianos and stuff. I'm sure the lyrics really tell like part of the story and stuff. So that's probably what the emphasis on this song and probably if not the album. But yeah, I don't know. I gave it. There wasn't too much going on for me. I gave it a 6.
Okay, Mike D.
Yeah, this was the first part of the Fieldworks. I believe it's probably the same song, or probably, connected to Fieldworks too.
Sure.
And probably my least favorite one on the album. I gave this one a 7. And not that it was bad, it was just a little too on the mellow side. But it just, as it goes along, it still gives you that uneasy feeling. Like, I'm not really sure what this one's about. I can honestly tell you that. Even after trying to search the internet, I don't know if the album's out, not long enough, but this is one of the ones I really couldn't find out too much about. But I could tell you at the end of it, it definitely has that build up and gives you that queasy experience. It's almost like the music's a palette for the story in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of builds everything up and releases at the end of it.
Okay. I gave Fieldworks 1 a 5. Cool, dreamy opening. Not a fan of the vocals. Kind of spoken word. This is just not my thing. I guess it makes sense in the concept of the record, but I'm just not feeling it. Coming in at number 8, Fieldworks 2.
Well, it's the sequel, right?
It's the sequel, and it goes
Right.
back to back. It makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah. So there's more of a build up on this song. There's a little bit more going on, more atmospheric stuff. Not really. There's no like drum rhythms, but there's definitely drums in the song. It probably because it's towards the end of the song. There's like some drums going on, like hits and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was pretty much the same score as I gave the previous song, which was the first Fieldworks. I gave this one a 6 as well.
Okay. Mike D.
Yeah, I gave this one just a little bit higher. I think this one just has, it invokes a feeling of, like I said, of queasiness, of like uneasiness, of And then when he's starting to question himself, well, am I evil or whatever, then it sort of builds up and ends right there. Probably the low point of the album for me. I gave this one a 7.5.
Okay. Fieldworks 2, I gave it a 6. Slightly better than Fieldworks 1. I hear a Pumpkins influence a bit on this one, but this guy ain't no Billy Corgan. Not at all. uh, decent melody in the bridge. I will say the music layers are really good, but the vocals go on and on to nowhere land for me. But like this record in general, the music's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Coming in at number 7, Crow Magnon Man, if I'm saying it right. Crow Magnon Man. What do you got, Damo?
This one was a little more interesting. I probably should have gave it a slightly higher score than what I gave. It really reminded me of like Velvet Underground, Lou Reed
Yes.
kind of thing. Definitely a lot of, this singer kind of reminds me of Lou Reed a bit.
I
Musically,
totally agree.
This really did sound like a Velvet Revolver.
Velvet Underground.
Velvet
I'm not
Underground.
familiar with them, really.
You'll probably like it. You'll probably like it.
You might like them, Mike, because they're definitely. I mean, this song sounds like a Velvet Underground song. Fuzz guitar.
Yeah,
and,
they're a hard listen for me, Velvet Underground.
Yeah, but they're pretty. Actually, they're very influential.
Oh yeah,
late '60s, early '70s. Like Andy Warhol art rock.
Yeah.
Band,
Probably get the album with the banana on it. It's like a white album cover with a banana on it.
I've seen that one before.
That's that's the record, I think.
I might have tried to listen to it like years ago. I might have to try again.
Yeah, Dave, what you give
this?
Give
this
us
one really reminded me of that, and I gave it a 6.5. I should probably give it a higher score than that, but
Mike D.
I gave this one a 7.5. A little short for the album, kind of straightforward. I did like the chorus. It was kind of cool with the girls, the little jingly vocals going through it. Yeah, not really memorable for me though, but it was good.
For me, Crow Magnon Man, I gave it a 5.75. The intro was just annoying to me. I had enough of the intro quick. It hits a little bit like a King Gizzard vibe at 1 point or 2 points in the song, which is kind of cool. But the song overall for me was just giving me a headache. Not for me. Coming at number 6, Blood on the Boulders. Dave.
very jazzy, very jazz type song, man. I thought probably should have I probably should have gave it slightly higher than what I gave. You got a female voice. It sounds like in this one, doubling his voice like an octave higher, so that brings something out of it. But I gave it a 6.5 also.
Mikey D.
I like this one. I gave it an 8.5. Like after the first 2 songs on the album kind of hit you, this one just slows everything down, man, to like almost a stop pace. But the percussions and everything, and just the way the guitars are, and it's just so basic, but there's just something about it. It just, I don't know. It drags you in. The ambiance in it. It pulls you in, And from what I understand, it's inspired by the Manson murders and people's obsession with like true crime and like voyeuristic fascination with violence. So then it has this big buildup, and then which just hits you in the face as he's screaming, we return to the scene and everything like that. And it just really invokes that horror in you, and that I believe they absolutely get what they're going for.
It's amazing. Like it's one cool thing. At least I think it's a cool thing is that you doing a podcast and going through music and just hearing how different everybody has. It could be one record Damien might like, I might think it's okay. Mike might hate it. Vice versa. We could be any three of us. There's usually one in the middle, one on two sides, opposite of the spectrum. So that's why it kind of works. We don't always agree. We have different taste. Yeah. So not that I want to turn heel on this record, but I like it. I like it like I like my peanut butter. This song's a Skippy. I gave it a generous 5. I should have gave it a 3, but I wouldn't do that because it is pretty artsy. So I'll give him credit on that. Okay. Coming in at number 5, Crispy Skin.
Damo. This was the album opener.
Yeah.
Man, this was I thought the album was going to go a whole different direction after this song. Especially the way it start. I'm listening to it. It's like, wow, this is kind of like proggy, like
Hmm.
kind of like some
Well, they
'70s.
got a little proggy stuff going on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Well, they're
It's
definitely
you know
artsy.
the
They're artsy.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely like art rock proggy. I thought this was my my favorite track on the album. Kind of noisy at parts, which is always cool. But I gave it a 7.25.
Okay, Mike D.
I gave this one an 8, and I probably could have gave it higher. I think the reason why I didn't, I heard it so many times before the album came out. This is the first one they released, probably back somewhere in October, maybe November. So I had a lot of listens to this one. It's about a 6-minute song, so it's kind of on the lengthy side. But what it's about, it's pretty much about a dystopian future where cannibalism is normal. And from what I understand, it was taken from a book from a 2020 book called Tender is the Flesh by Augustina, and I'm probably going to butcher her last name, Bazterrica. And she's an Argentinian author. So I kind of, from what I understand, it's basically about a cannibalistic future where it's normal to eat people.
Hmm.
And the author in the song is basically questioning, like, am I bad for doing this because everybody else is? And at the end of it, I guess he realizes, well, yeah, I am. I'm as bad as everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like the storyline is neat and it's interesting. I just can't get over the music part of it, or the I should say the vocal more than anything. Crispy Skin 5.25. I hate the intro, man. I hate that video game keyboard thing. I just can't do it. It's just not my thing. Through the verses, like I like the little guitar bends. I thought that was the best thing in the song was them little slight guitar bends were neat. I think they were cool. The singing voice, it's just not my thing. I don't like Lou Reed either. It's just not my thing. Coming in at number 4, Cowards. What do you got, Damo?
This was my least favorite track. It was just a little too out there for me. I mean, first half of the song is kind of like atmospheric, very jazzy, kind of mellow, art, beatnik type stuff. Um, yeah, and it was a little long too with all that going on. But yeah, it was my least favorite. I gave lowest score. I gave it a 5.
Okay, Mike D.
I like this one. I like the ambiance in it. I like the feeling of dread in it. Basically, from what I'm gathering, is it's just somebody that doesn't want to go out of the house and they need drugs to go out of the house. That's from what I can gather of it. But it's just got that feeling of dread and the horns in it, almost like a Chicago kind of feel to some of those horns in there.
Yep. Cowards. I gave this one a pretty good score. I gave it a 7.25. One of the better songs on the record. It has a lot of cool layers, and that's probably the reason why I just like the layering of all the stuff on it. That's what makes the song ranks higher for me, and it's probably the strong point is the horns. I like the horns in this one. Like Mike said, it's got a Chicago feel to it. This one I thought was pretty good. Coming at number 3, Well Met. What do you got, Damo?
This was my second to least favorite track, and a lot of it has to do with the length, the length of the song. It was north of 8 minutes. But it's not structured like your typical pop song. Like where there's an
Right.
intro, verse, chorus, and it repeats. This is sort of like the song is, I mean, atmospheric.
Very
it's like
dreamy.
yeah, it's like a movie. It starts out and then and then there's a build at the end. There's hills and valleys, which is pretty cool. Like for a song, but it was just it's a little too long. Like, again, it was a little too out there, like the previous song. I gave it a 5.5.
Mike D?
I gave this one an 8. I like the whole atmosphere of it. I like the female vocals in it. I like the edginess of it. It just kind of gives you that queasiness in it, like the rest of the album. It sticks. It's just like I don't know what to say. It just sticks to your soul somehow and just distorts it. the horns, just great. And all these guys in the band, I think there's two or three of them that actually play the horns as they're doing it. So it's not like it's
They
synth out and
hired
keyboards
guys.
or anything. Right. I think they have like some orchestra and stuff like that they hire out, but most of the stuff like those sound effects, they're doing it themselves. So I
If,
like this one. This was an 8.
for me, well met, a 7.5, which was my highest ranking on the record. Uh, this one has some cool melody in it. You know, this one's decent, not too memorable, I don't think, but it's got some decent stuff in it. I mean, the problem for me with the whole record is I don't think this band likes choruses. That's why it's not memorable. There's nothing in there there's not a hook in there that goes, ah.
Yeah.
If anything, it's more the music that's the hook. And I get it. It's a
Right.
story. It's a spoken word thing, kind of. They're telling a story. But if I wanted to hear something like this, I would go back to that Dog Fashion Disco album. What was that record, Mike? It was really good. The storyline with the detective.
Fuck, I can't even think of it right now.
I'll figure it out. And I'll post it
Yeah.
on here. But that record, that gave me more of a queasy. You know, that I like that. You know, and that's a Mike D band, and I enjoy that band. So yeah, this, you know, there's good stuff in there, but nothing's memorable
Well-
because it just drones on.
See, that's the thing. Like you're looking for something. You're looking for the hook. You're looking for the
Oh,
choruses
I wanna
and
feel
everything,
something.
and it's not always there, and it's not that
Yeah.
type of thing. So it's like
Yeah,
sometimes you
know,
just got to sit back and relax and take it for what it is.
yeah. I mean,
So-
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's just
It's
not,
more-
not my deal.
Yeah, it's more. It's not really vocal based. It's more like
Yeah.
music based, where the music
Absolutely.
is
Okay,
a
okay.
big part of it, where it's telling a story because it's.
Yeah, that's fair.
I see at certain points in it. Like a lot of people are kind of comparing them to like they're saying like the new Radiohead. You know.
And even Radiohead, as brilliant as Radiohead is, I like a couple songs. I get bored.
And a lot, yeah,
And
same
they're
here.
brilliant.
Like
They're brilliant.
what was it? Kid A was really good, I think, and
That's
what
probably
was
their best one.
But yeah, for me, they're a little too moody for me. Radiohead.
Great. Listen, great at what they do.
Mhm.
Brilliant band. I just get bored quick. You know, it just I want more. Coming in at number 2, Building 650. Demo.
This I thought was one of the better tracks. One of my favorite tracks, I guess, if you want to use favorite as a word, but I thought it was one of the better tracks. It's one of the songs that actually has like a song structure. I think your typical strong song structure sounds like it's to me it's an indie rock song, which is nothing wrong with that. I like some of that stuff. But I gave it a 6.75.
Okay, Mike D.
I gave this one a 9. This was their second release off the album. Another one that they took from a book called "In the Miso Soup" by Ryo Murakami, which I'm probably butchering his name, from 2006. It's a Japanese novel, and from what I understand, it's about this guy Frank and his friend. And I guess Frank has runs this business in the underground, giving tours of the underground in Japan. But he has a evil side where he can melt his face and hands and burn people.
Frank's my friend.
So,
Frank's my friend.
Frank's my friend. You know, he's good, but you know, there's murder sometimes. You know, but the author is basically, you know, still hanging around with this person who's going around killing people, but you know, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to question yourself. Well, you're just as bad as him for hanging around all that time. You know.
Sure.
So that's pretty much, I guess, what the premises of the story is. But I guess, you know, you're a coward for hanging around that person and not leaving them when they're doing dastardly deeds.
I mean, yeah, the album's definitely deep. It's deep.
And I
It's
think
got
we
some
all
deep stuff.
kind of been through, maybe not to that extent, but we all had people growing up with that we probably had to stop hanging with because they did things that were like, yeah, that's not me. So
Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
What did you give it, Mike?
I gave this one a 9.
Building 650, I gave 5.5. The only notes I got here for this one is that at least there's some energy in the vocals. A little different vocal he threw up over here. I don't know what their older stuff sounds like, but this one had a little more vocal.
I like their second album, Oh Monolith. Their first album was okay. You would not like it.
Yeah. Listen, when you get me stuff, it's either it's either I don't like it or it hits me where I love it. It's just nothing really in between. You know what I mean? King Gizzard was a grow for me. It took me a little bit, but I kind of got it after a while. But yeah, it's usually Michael come up with something that's like, wow, what is that? Or I'll be like, no, this is definitely not my thing. But it's a 50-50 shot. And sometimes, I'm surprised how much I do like stuff. Yeah. Coming in at number one, Showtime, Demo.
This is a real interesting song. There's a lot of stuff going on in it, especially like midway point. There's like sort of like an orchestration breakdown with some like video game sounds going on, and this was pretty intense. This was my second best song, I think, in my opinion. I gave it a 6.8.
Okay, Mike D.
I gave this one an 8.5. I'm not too much up on Andy Warhol stuff. I maybe have to look into him and watch a movie or read a biography of him. So I guess a lot of the stuff is taken from Andy Warhol in this song. But basically, from what I can gather, it's basically about someone who sneaks into a room on the 14th floor to watch a girl. And my interpretation is he just at some point grabs her and jumps out the window with her.
What the fuck?
It's pretty intense, and it has a build up, and it's yeah.
Dude, you know what's I mean, if this was like, and it's not fair maybe, but just, different things for different people, right? So it's like if this was a King Diamond production with the same storyline, same lyrics, I probably would love
It's
it.
awesome.
I probably would love it. It's just like I said, just the feel of it for me. I mean, there's interesting elements through the whole thing. There is. I can't deny
Yeah.
that. Showtime, I gave it a 6. This one's okay, I thought. Again, I like the different little sound effects and the layers. This one almost has a chorus at one point, but it's layering. The layering is cool. I just, I'm all about the vocal melody, but the layering is cool in this. So we'll give our scores here.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Okay, go ahead. I just found something really interesting about this band.
Okay. Dame gave it a 6.25. Mike D gave it an 8.05. I gave it a 5.95, which is still better than average. It's almost a 6, which is better than average. Dame, your point?
The lead singer is the drummer.
Yes.
Yes. Mike told me that the other day, which has got to be, listen, for what he's playing, it's got to be hard. Because it's all avant-garde stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a talent in itself.
Yeah.
It really is. So the total was a 6.738, which will round up to a 6.74 for Squid Cowards. We're going to give our final thoughts here. Damo, your final thought on the Squid Coward record.
Yeah, a little too out there for me. I mean, look, I like even rock and metal. They all have like choruses and stuff. That's what I'm really into. Not so much like stories and stuff. Like even concept albums that metal bands do. I even like the King Diamond stuff. I'm not really into the whole concept stuff. It kind of loses me, but yeah, it was just it was just a little too out there for me. That's all. I'm not saying it was bad. There was some cool stuff in there. Just not my thing.
Mike D.
So I had about a month to listen to this. My first couple listens to it, I was a little on the disappointed side with the mellow stuff on it. But as I listened to it and realized what they were aiming for, and just the way they layer everything, just the way they use the ambience on this and the horns, and just it's almost like the album's alive. It's not like it's something different. It's they're not going for the basic rock track with a chorus and the bridge and the pre-chorus. They're not going to. They're doing their own thing, and sometimes I like that. And when it's done right, and I feel like this is done right, I love it. And this is right now probably my album of the year.
Okay.
I like listening to stuff sometimes where you do have to think afterwards, and this is definitely one of them.
Okay. My final thought is, I mean, I gave this record a higher score than I probably really would have, because there is art in there. And what they're putting out, I mean, it's definitely a storyline and the lyrics. There's a theme, so you can't take that away from their vision There's layers. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. Just for me, it just thrown on a little bit. Just from my opinion. I mean, for me, it's an NMT, not my thing, which you heard me say a billion times probably. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that love the record, and that's cool. Different strokes for different folks, right? The only thing it's a bummer for me, to be honest with you, because I played it 5 times. I'm going to get all kinds of stuff like this on my Spotify. That's what's going to
Yeah.
happen, which happens to all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Mike's getting these.
I don't know.
80
I'm going to
classic
say
songs.
there's not much out there like them, so you're going to get something different. They're
Uh,
definitely a unique band.
and something might hit. You know what I mean? Maybe guess what? Maybe a different record for me will hit with them. I think for me it was. I don't mind out there, but it's that. And I always say it's the Mike D thing, but it's when I hear them weird keyboard things, and it just don't. It's just not. It's like when I don't like the Chuck Berry thing either, right? So it's just certain keyboard elements that I like, and certain keyboard elements that I'm like, it's just not pleasing to my ear.
Turns you off. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely if you're into the art rock thing with a storyline with a lot of layers, and the music takes you there on the journey. This could be a record for you. If you're looking for something vocally with a lot of melody, it's not really that. It's a whole different
It's
thing.
a moody album.